Sports Talk Chicago. Here with Jon Zaghloul, right back at it. Last segment of today's program. Great to be here with you. Jon Zaghloul, John Meadows, directing and producing. It's great to be back. We got 98.3 The Life carrying us, WKAN 105.5 The Ticket, ACTV, JNTV, WJOB, Cities 92.9 Talk FM, and 101.1 Peoria Sports Radio. They are here. They are part of the Sports Talk Chicago network, and we're so excited to have our first show here with them. We're going to be on every Saturday morning on that station from 6 to 7 a.m. So a warm welcome to everybody in Peoria. If you want to hear our full welcome, go back, podcast the show, listen to the first segment, sportstalkchicago.com, or on any podcasting platform. Do us a favor, too, subscribe to the YouTube channel. You want to watch us and watch us talk about everything that you're hearing on the radio? Go to YouTube, Sports Talk Chicago. Subscribe, like it. We're up to 18,800 subs, on the way to 20,000, and every single subscription helps. All right, last segment of today's program. It's been a Justin Fields bonanza today. And we're going to end with some stuff on him, too. Should have renamed the show. Maybe I'll rename it for the podcast. We'll call it Full Show Justin Fields Bonanza. That's what I'm going to call it today. So much going on with Justin Fields, and so much that's occurred really just in the past week in terms of his stock, his perception, what the Bears will do. I mean, Kevin Warren came out and said stuff, right? Adam Schefter reported some things. And now, according to odds makers in Vegas, this is from NBC Sports Chicago, quote, Justin Fields is favored to land in Pittsburgh. As of Tuesday, Fields is most likely to play under center for the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 24-25 regular season at minus 125 odds. The odds of Fields remaining with the Bears are plus 200. The ship was likely fueled by a report from ESPN's Adam Schefter. Here's what Schefter said on the Pat McAfee show, quote, we know the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to go out and get some type of quarterback, whether that's Ryan Tannehill, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields. Mike Tomlin's a big fan of Justin Fields. We'll keep that in mind during the offseason and the coming weeks. In a concurrent move, the Steelers cut Mitch Trubisky this week. Very interesting. We talked about this a bit in the last segment. I'm going to say this again. For a team like Pittsburgh, right, where you're in need of a quarterback, you have a young roster who just made the playoffs too, right? They just made the playoffs with a combination of Mitch Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, and Mason Rudolph last year. 3 different guys started at quarterback for them, similar to like what the Browns dealt with, and they made the playoffs. That's coaching right there. So Mike Tomlin's one of the best coaches in football. Nevertheless, they need a permanent quarterback. They need a legitimate solution. Now, you hear the names that Schefter threw out there. Ryan Tannehill, no way. That's not a permanent solution. I can't believe he's even getting any interest whatsoever. His career is over, in my opinion. Russell Wilson, he had a productive year last year, but had a falling out with Sean Payton. I don't know what his market is. There could be interest. Or Justin Fields. I mean, who would you want to take from that trio? I would take Russell Wilson, but let me say this. If you're Pittsburgh, you have a young roster. You just made the playoffs with those 3 different quarterbacks. You want somebody who's going to be young and controllable. You want somebody who could potentially fit in, and you could last with him 5-10 years, maybe longer. And Mike Tomlin likes Justin Fields. What would you do in that scenario? How would you approach that situation? I would take Justin Fields. Same thing in Atlanta. Same thing potentially in Washington. 3 teams who have decent rosters but just have not performed. And they haven't performed because their quarterbacks have been trash. If they just had a quarterback, I would flip them from 7-10 like Atlanta to 10-7 maybe. Maybe Arthur Smith would still have a job if he had a quarterback last year. Not kidding. I really think that Fields could work in Pittsburgh. And I think this report is accurate. Jeremy Fowler said in early January from ESPN, the consensus is that Fields could be worth a 2nd or 3rd round pick. Then Adam Schefter said he could even be worth a 1st round pick depending on who is desperate enough to take him. But the Steelers want him. Mike Tomlin wants him. Pull the trigger. If you're Ryan Poles, make it happen. That's awesome. Good for the Bears. Do it and get it done. If Justin Fields is the odds-on favorite to join Pittsburgh, then I would say embrace it. Embrace it. Don't run from that narrative. Just do it. So this report's quite interesting. It'd be funny if Pittsburgh went from one failed Bears quarterback, quote unquote, to another failed Bears quarterback. But this is the best option for a team like Pittsburgh and a team like Atlanta and maybe even a team like the Commanders. Especially Pittsburgh because they made the playoffs. So Pittsburgh's not going to have a top pick. Now, yes, J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr., they still might be available late in the first round. Totally possible. But we don't know that's going to be the best fit for them, too. Last year, they struggled at the quarterback position. They had absolutely nothing there. They went 10-7 and made the playoffs. They went 10-7 in spite of their quarterback play. Do they want to do that again? And not saying that J.J. McCarthy or Michael Penix Jr. or Bo Nix are going to be busts, but what I'm saying is this. There is going to be a learning curve to NFL football for all three of them. Probably all five of them. We could count Drake May and Caleb Williams. There is going to be a learning curve, and you have a roster that's ready to win today. Justin Fields is not a winner, but he has experience. And if you brought him in and teamed him up with Mike Tomlin and company, I think good things could actually happen. I actually think for both parties it'd be huge. I think Justin Fields would thrive in Pittsburgh if given the right situation. Justin Fields only thrives when he has everything perfectly in alignment, but it could happen. Additionally, the Steelers would bring in somebody who has experience and has a roster that's already equipped to win. They're going to draft people around Fields and draft reinforcements, but they don't need or they don't have gigantic gaping holes. They went 10-7 last year with three different quarterbacks. They're not horrendous. They're a very good team, a well-tuned machine who just needs a good quarterback, or at least a passable one. Kenny Pickett was horrible. He's a bust, which we kind of knew. Mitch Trubisky's been cut, released, and Mason Rudolph's always going to be a backup. Had a nice story there, right, at the end of the season, but he's not a starter. Come on. This is what Pittsburgh needs, too. I'd like to see this for everybody involved, sincerely. I think Fields could thrive out there, and I think Pittsburgh could embrace him and win some football games. I think they could improve their record. If they went 10-7 last year with those three quarterbacks, Justin Fields, as much as I criticize him, could put up better numbers than those three combined. I think he could at least. Maybe I'm being a little bit too hopeful, but I think he could do it. So we'll see how this all plays out. But if the Pittsburgh Steelers are the favorite right now, I could see it working out in that method for them. I mean, combined last year, from all their quarterbacks, the Steelers as a team threw for 3,400 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 9 picks. Now, Fields has never thrown for 3,000 yards, but he did have more than 13 touchdown passes last year. His touchdown-to-interception ratio was better than what every Steelers quarterback did combined last year. And Fields' passer rating was right around what the Steelers' average was, which was 84.6. And then from a running perspective, none of their quarterbacks run. I mean, the most rushing yards they had from any quarterback was actually a tie between Trubisky and Pickett at 54 apiece. If Justin Fields was on that team last year and even did what he did last year in a Bears uniform in Pittsburgh, they probably would have been 11-6 or 12-5. And he would have had more numbers, better numbers. So I really think that this could work. And when the expectations are that low, it's easy to judge success, or it's easy to say this was successful too, right? For Fields' sake. I mean, if I were his agent, I'd be pushing for this. Because I would tell him, look, Justin, all you got to do is throw for 3,400 yards and throw for 15 touchdowns, and you've already outperformed the mishmash of players they had at quarterback last year. It's pretty easy for any quarterback, let alone Justin Fields, to walk in and do better than what they had last year, which makes him look good, it makes the Steelers look good, and everybody wins. Everybody wins. The same thing in Atlanta. Good luck, Justin. Just beat out the combined numbers of Taylor Heineke and Desmond Ridder. Oh, my goodness. That's easy to do. And then everybody looks good. So We go back to the crux of the argument, which is that, yes, he's the odds-on favorite to go to Pittsburgh. There is a market for Justin Fields, whether people like it or not. And if you're the Bears and you're experiencing any market for a quarterback who's 10-29, you go with it and you do it. It's that easy. So if I'm Chicago and I'm surveying the area, I'd be targeting Pittsburgh, I'd be targeting Atlanta, I'd be targeting Washington. Top three. One of those teams has to take Justin Fields. Make it happen. If you're Ryan Poles, make it happen. That's the way I look at it. We'll see how the Bears end up approaching the situation. But clearly, there's been a lot of talk already. And I'm sure in the days here leading up to the draft, about 2 months, there's going to be a lot more talk to come. I promise all of you that we're going to be on top of it every step of the way here on Sports Talk Chicago. And that'll do it for us here today. I want to give a couple of special shout-outs before we finish up. Of course, to all of our great affiliates. I want to shout them out again. 98.3 The Life, WKAN, 105.5 The Ticket, HCTV, JTB, WJOB, Cities 92.9 FM, and our new affiliate, our new friends, our new audience, 101.1 Peoria Sports Radio. Hello, Peoria. Welcome to the Sports Talk Chicago experience. Welcome to the family. We are so excited to be out there with you. We love Peoria, and we've been trying to get on in Peoria for a long time, and that day has come, and we're here. So if you enjoyed this show, tune in every Saturday morning over there from 6 to 7 a.m. You're going to hear more of it or podcast it. Just go to sportstalkchicago.com. Simple. Go to YouTube. You can watch me speak. Watch all my hand gestures and crazy faces. Go to YouTube at Sports Talk Chicago and subscribe to the channel. Shout out to John Meadows, directing and producing. Appreciate him, of course. And we're looking forward to next week. I will keep this brief, but going to be out for a little bit, couple of weeks here, as I undergo some more oral surgery. So you're going to be hearing different voices filling in for me. The show will go on. We're going to have shows every single week still on all the great radio and TV affiliates. I will be back soon. Per doctor's orders. I'm really going to miss all of you a lot. But fortunately, the way all this worked out timing-wise, I will be back before the NFL draft. In fact, I could be back a lot sooner than even the NFL draft based on my conversations with my doctor. So we will keep you updated. You can follow me at John Z Sports, follow Sports Talk Chicago on social media to keep up with what's going on. Nevertheless, we're going to have a couple of guest hosts helping us out. Joey Christopoulos here of the Sports Talk Chicago Network is going to be doing a couple of shows. And Matt Cozy and Sam Olber of the Locked On Cubs podcast will be doing a couple of shows to talk everything Chicago sports. So that's going to be great. We love you guys, and we're looking forward to the next time that I can see you. Until next time, so long.